Hey, awesome friends, welcome back to the channel. I am Awesome Danny, and today I want to talk to you about this guy right here. This is the Aful Cantor. So real quick, big thank you to Practiphile and HiFiGo for including me in the tour of the Cantor. I get to try it out, tell you guys about it, and then send it on to the next person. So they made this video possible. Make sure you go hop over to Practiphile's channel and let him know that we appreciate him helping us out so much, because a lot of sets that come through here are actually his. So he's really helping us keep content going. So the Cantor comes in at $799 plus tax and free shipping, I think. Maybe plus shipping? I don't know, man. That's a lot. It's an expensive guy, but let's go ahead and go over the details and see how this guy stacks up. So the Cantor's driver configuration is 14 balanced armatures per each side. It's 14 drivers in each IEM. So 28 drivers in total. That's a lot. It's a lot of drivers. So unboxing overall was very simple. It was kind of lacking, to be honest. For 800 bucks, it was pretty much a very similar, or maybe even a step down compared to Awful's other sets, like the Performer 5, the Performer 7, and the Magic 1. The Cantor kind of just had all the accessories kind of thrown into the carrying case, and then the two IEMs presented to you in standard, mid-fi fashion. As far as those accessories go, you don't get very many for the price, at least. Overall, just physical, what you're getting in the box feels like it's on the lower end of value for $800. So you get the two IEMs. Duh, imagine you didn't. And then you get a very, very nice, like, this case is actually really good, and it has some structure to it, so it will actually protect the IEMs, not just from scratching and bumps, but from like crushing. The cable is a cloth covered cable, which some people don't like. I didn't mind it. It's built well, it has a good heft to it, and it behaves nicely. No issues with any type of kinks or memory or anything like that. But I do know some people don't like the cloth covered ones. I don't know why. The ones I've tried, they've all been pretty much okay. And then you get 3 different types of ear tips. I do like Awful's standard ear tips, the ones that they have, like their stock ear tips that came with like the P5 and the P7. I really like those. I actually still use the ear tips from my P5 that I purchased like a couple years ago. I still use those ear tips, and I've asked Awful for more, but they say they don't sell them on their own, which sucks, because like I said, I really like them. And then for the shells themselves, gorgeous faceplate, good construction, like they're built well, they look fancy. I forget the name of the colorway, but the faceplate I have is just really shimmery, and it doesn't come off as tacky. It looks really nice, classy, but still kind of flashy. But then you take a look at the nozzles, man. Oh man, the nozzles on this set, I don't know what they were thinking when they made this. I don't know how that works, but oh man, these nozzles, man, they mean, just look at them. These nozzles, they're long, they go deep, they run deep, real deep. Put your ass to sleep. I was able to fit them fine because my ear holes are just take anything. Like, man, like, I swear I have not come across an IEM that could not shove in there and just listen to just fine. It's just a matter of tip rolling. No matter how big the nozzle is, no matter how long the nozzle is, you just have to tip roll. Like, even the biggest nozzle in the world for an IEM has plenty of wiggle room if you put it into your ear with no ear tip. Find the right ear tips. But that being said, for this IEM, I had to go to these very small pair of ear tips that are actually very low profile. That way I can fit the IEMs comfortably. And even then, after like an hour and a half of use, it was a little uncomfortable, because just the way the nozzle's angled and how long it is, it's just not great. That's one concern that I have. This set could be fit dependent. Well, I mean, every set is fit dependent, but this one just feels like it's a little bit more iffy than the average set. And now let's go ahead and get into the sound impressions, where this thing actually shines. That is the strength here, the sound. So you guys that are hunting for only sound should be pleased if what I described to you is something that you're looking for. So let's go ahead and put up the graph so you guys can take a sniff. Boom, there you go. Graph, check it out. It is a nice graph. If you look at it, it's just like how it just like, you know, does its thing. Like it does its graph stuff. It's just like whoop, just like it goes down and it just like keeps going and like bloop, little bumps over there. It's like it's a nice graph, right? So overall the set is very sparkly, kind of light. I don't want to say thin because usually thin implies that it's not as full sounding as it could be, but it's lower viscosity. Like in the bass and the lower mid range, it's there. Like there's presence there. It just feels like you can cut through it a little bit like too easy, you know? Overall, the sound is a little shallow, but it also feels like you're listening in high def. Like this thing is super detailed, very good resolution, and just really brings up a lot of sparkle and a lot of minor details in the music. The bass itself feels mostly front-ended, and what I mean by that is that more focus on the initial impact and thump rather than the rumble and the lingering effects of it. And that's also what I mean by when something's a little bit more shallow. Like I want more depth in there, and I want it to have more body and presence instead of just you hear it, not necessarily feel it, and then it's kind of gone pretty quick. The rumble is okay. The bass is actually pretty well textured. Like the ripples within the sub bass are pretty defined. It's just not as visceral as I would like. And then the mid bass, that punch, it's there. Like it has decent punch. It hits you, but it's also kind of soft on the outside. It's like getting your ass beat in a pillow fight, but there happens to be a brick in there too. Like in the song, Bonbon Chocolat by Everglow, you can really ride the bass. The sub bass kind of shifts and it like pops up and then kind of drops down, shifts in tone, but also kind of in location. And it has a nice little ripply texture that you can follow. You ride the waves, and this set did that pretty well. It's just that lingering and effect and that depth was not as there. So it felt kind of shallow, more shallow than I'm used to, you know, with something like the Variations. But the song was, you know, replayed well. It was fine. But for $800, you want just fine. And now moving on to the mid-range, which is my favorite part about the set. Mid-range is just adequate, you know, just fine. It's very Goldilocks. Yeah, we'll go with that. We got a Goldilocks mid-range here. It's not too much, it's not too little, it's just fine. Very well balanced and super smooth. Vocals are a treat on this set. I really liked both male and female vocals, more so female vocals because they have, you know, a little bit of that natural intensity and energy. And then with the treble on this, it gave them that airiness that I really enjoy. Male vocals weren't as exciting, but they still sounded right. And that's the thing here. Like just tonality was very nice in the mid-range. Like in Taylor Swift's Glitch, which is a little bit more acoustic than like, you know, other more artificial K-pop stuff. Her vocals were just very nice. They were very effortless and natural. And this set did very well on those kind of tracks where things were just a little bit slower, more acoustic, more raw. It was just very effortless in those. And now for the treble, which I feel like it's going to be the most divisive aspect of this set. I didn't mind it most of the time. There were some times that it was a little too much. Treble extends forever. It is shimmery, sparkly, not harsh, but it is sharp. So it comes through. It doesn't feel artificially boosted or crude in any way, but it's there and then plus some. Like in 'Cause It's You by Red Velvet, there's a kind of like a sparkly metallic xylophone note in there. And that thing felt like it was just like flicking the middle of my brain. It was just like flick, flick, flick. And that was a lot of things. A lot of notes that were similar to that, like a little metallic, sharp, and quick, felt like it was just like punching my, I don't know, frontal lobe or something. Or flicking. More of a flick, not a punch, because it was a small hit, but you can feel it. And like I said, while it's not harsh or grating, it is there. Like it demands your attention. You can't just tune it out. Get it, tune it out because of tuning, and then you can definitely tune that out with some EQ, right? But whatever. But yeah, it demands your attention. It just grabs your face and pulls you in and just really forces you to pay attention to that. So keep that in mind. And as far as the text go, this set is, I would consider, highly detailed, one of the most detailed sets that I've ever heard. The imaging is very strong and it separates very well. So a lot of things, a lot of little details are somewhat intrusive, but they're also so well separated. It's easy to notice things even if they aren't demanding your attention, or not as much as other parts of the music. It does sound clean. It's very well balanced and natural. Like I mentioned before, timbre, tonality, especially in the mid-range, is really good. Stage is somewhat above average. It does feel a little bit more wide, but it's not open and expansive like I would like when you go more vertical. It does have some verticality, but just comparing to other stuff in its price range, it's not as much as I would expect. But overall, the set, the texts are very engaging. Like, you're gonna have fun if that's something that you listen to for in music. Even though it does that very well, though, I still focus mostly on the mid-range. It's just something about when a set just sounds right and correct. It's just so easy to enjoy, especially with, you know, some of the more raw, natural music, more acoustic stuff. It's just a very pleasant experience. So this set's a little difficult to recommend for a few reasons, mostly price. And then there's a couple of hurdles that we have to jump through, even if you're willing to pay that much. So we're going to do 2 rec ratings for this one. If you only care about sound, some of you guys out there only care about sound. You don't care about price. You don't care about value or perceived value or accessories or packaging or anything that has to do with the product. You just care about the end result, what it sounds like in your ear. And I guess sometimes graphs, some of you guys care about graphs for some reason. Like, what does the graph matter if it sounds good or bad? Like, if it graphs good, but you put it in your ear and it sounds bad, does the graph matter? What about vice versa? If it graphs bad, but then you put it in your ear and that shit slaps and you enjoy it, is it a bad set? But either way, if you're only going based off sound, this is a rec rating 2 for me. This set is extremely detailed and then good mid-range tonality. That is where you're going to get, you know, the most enjoyment, in my opinion, out of the set. So that's where you're going to get the most out of it. But if this were, you know, just full product, as a product in general, my rec rating would be 1, because it feels like it's low value. You're not getting that much stuff for paying that much money. Sound is great. It is awesome in sound. But then also there's the fit issue. Those nozzles are kind of crazy. Is it going to fit? So it's well built. It sounds good, but is it going to fit? Do you need to buy more accessories? Like, it comes with everything you need, but like, I couldn't use any of these ear tips. I had to use other ear tips. I had to go really low profile for them to fit. Do you have to buy more ear tips? Are you going to have to buy a different cable because you don't like cloth covered cables? There's other sets that I would rather buy for $800. So there you go, guys. If you want only sound and that sounds appealing to you based off my description, rec rating 2, go ahead and go demo it. If you care about the entire experience, if you're just like buying one set and you don't have a whole collection that you can, you know, take from, probably consider holding off, maybe demoing to see if you like the sound, but probably hold off for a sale or a used unit. That would probably be the best thing. So that's it, team. That is my review of the Aful Cantor. Thank you for tuning in. Please consider liking and subscribing. And until next time, you stay awesome, friends. Bye.